Welcome to another episode of Stand on Guard. I'm your host, David Krayden. And why is Justin Trudeau obsessing over an admirer of Pierre Poilievre? And who do you think that admirer might be? We'll find out when we come back in a few moments. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist. Yeah, we've got a bit of a subscription problem here, and that's why I want to talk about it briefly at the beginning of the show. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please resubscribe if YouTube has taken you off. I've lost about 60, 70 subscriptions in the last couple of days. YouTube is trying to keep me below 22,000. I don't know why. They seem to think I've reached a plateau. We don't want to go any further with this guy, they're saying. So please subscribe. Tell your friends and family to do so. Like the station right now if you can. Give it the thumbs up. We need to beat not only Trudeau's censorship, but YouTube's censorship. It's suppression and it's algorithm. And we need to do that before things get any worse. I've had your support in the past on this. Thanks for keeping us going upwards. We need to go upwards for this channel to survive. And I hate to mention shop talk business at the beginning of a show, but I need to do that right now. So please ring the bell and subscribe if you haven't. And we need to do that because I'm doing this because I think this station is necessary. And yeah, you can go out there every day and just use the personal attacks against Justin Trudeau, use the ad hominem attacks. YouTube doesn't seem to mind that, although I'm suspicious about why they don't seem to mind that. I think they're possibly gathering information. I don't know exactly. But if you deal with more than just attacks on Justin Trudeau, if you go after his policies, such as his euthanasia policy, his carbon tax policy, his Ukraine policy, and his Online Harms Act policy, his whole censorship policy, you will be in trouble. And unfortunately, we need to do something about that. And I know you guys are going to come through. You have been so supportive of this. So let's get on with the subject matter at hand. And it's Justin Trudeau again, obsessing over who? Alex Jones. Alex Jones, and we recorded this numerous times. I wrote a story about this for the Post Millennial as soon as it happened. And this was when Alex Jones simply put out a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying Pierre Poilievre is the real deal. That's all. That's all he said. And he was responding to another posting from a Canadian supporter of Poilievre who said that she really believes he's in the right place on this policy issue. And Alex Jones commented. He reposted the comment and said he was the real deal. Now, big deal. That's Alex Jones has been right on more issues than Justin Trudeau. But listen to how Justin Trudeau, he's at a electric vehicle plant announcement. That's supposed to be the news, but listen to how Justin reacts.
Alex Jones, garbage conspiracy theorist. That's all Pierre Poilievre. Anyone who wants to be Prime Minister of this country needs to be clear with Canadians about whose votes he wants and who he stands with. If Pierre Poilievre wanted to be a responsible leader, I'll even give him the words. This is what he should say. I reject categorically the endorsement and the support of Diagolon and of Alex Jones. Because Diagolon is a violent white nationalist organization, and Alex Jones is a garbage conspiracy theorist. That's all Pierre Poilievre would have to say. But he won't say it. And that tells you about the kinds of choices he's making as a leader.
Couple of things to say here. First of all, Diagolon is a mythical organization. It's basically, it's not even a website. It's an X post. And it was meant to be initially a joke. It was meant simply to be a troll on Justin Trudeau and a social media troll. And it's not a real organization. It does not constitute some sort of militia on the prairies. It is not some sort of anti-government, underground, nefarious, shadowy organization plotting the overthrow of the Trudeau government. It doesn't exist. And Trudeau is too stupid, too dense to get that, to even know it. So Pierre Poilievre is not aligned with Diagolon. It's so absurd. But he'll keep repeating that talking point, just like he'll keep saying, oh, how horrible it is that Alex Jones endorsed Pierre Poilievre, and he needs to renounce that immediately. Alex Jones, we know now that the FBI did go after him. We know now that Alex Jones has been right about 90% of the things he's predicted on his show, on his social media platform, which is Media Wars. We know that Elon Musk decided to reinstate him on X after he was canceled by the previous X Twitter administration. So Justin Trudeau is absolutely crazy to be obsessing about Alex Jones when he's supposed to be at an electric vehicle plant announcement. And you see the woman behind him saying, Justin, can you please stay on the topic here? We're talking about the announcement. But no, he wants to talk about Alex Jones. So he says Pierre Poilievre stands with the wrong people. Who does Justin Trudeau stand with? You remember this?
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian-Canadian world veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
And of course, we're giving him the first of two standing ovations. This is a former Waffen-SS Nazi who fought the Russians for the Nazi Germany. And Trudeau, of course, is up standing, giving him an ovation.
His name is Yaroslav Hunka. And I was going to say he's in the gallery, but I think you beat me to that. But I'm very proud to say that he is from North Bay and from my riding of Nipissing-Temiskaming. He's a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and we thank him for all his service. Thank you.
And there they go again. Trudeau's up on his feet again. That's who Justin Trudeau stands with. Let's go back to this Honda electric vehicle plant announcement and see how Trudeau continues to make an ass of himself. And notice that the media just is not buying. The media are not buying, the story. They're not buying this job creation scheme. They're not buying the story that there's 1,000 jobs going to be created here. This is nothing but government subsidy of another failed green energy source, namely electric vehicles that nobody's buying. But watch how Trudeau muscles past Doug Ford. No easy task on the best of days, because Doug Ford's a big man. But Trudeau muscles right past him here.
So just to be clear, no one's willing to answer the question specifically. How many jobs are being created, and what is the cost for the government deal?
If you're not going to listen to the answer of it saying 1,000 jobs created, then there's nothing we can do for you.
Nothing they can do for
There is no price you can put on that, because we're investing into the people. The money is staying here in Ontario. It's not going overseas. It's not going down to the U.S. It's staying right here in Ontario for decades and generations to come.
Okay, so Doug Ford is again toadying up to Justin Trudeau, hoping he's going to get a bit of financial spin-off from Trudeau's crazy fiscal planning. But clearly, electric vehicles are not the answer. They are not being purchased by Canadians because they don't work in the winter months, and the batteries don't last long. The batteries are up, and they have a very, very short lifespan, and it's almost impossible to get a replacement battery, a new battery, because the materials that are required to manufacture those batteries are scarce, and they're very hard to extract from the earth. And countries like China are using child labor to extract those minerals from the earth. Isn't that a wonderful system? And look what CBC has to say. EV sales have slowed. Do massive subsidies still make sense? CBC, legacy media. Legacy media, state media is saying, hey, Trudeau, we're not buying into this anymore. We don't believe you. We think you might be lying about this. And are they? Yeah, they're lying about this, all right. So don't believe Justin Trudeau on electric vehicles. He doesn't even buy into his own program, his own spending spree. He took the opportunity to talk about, once again, Alex Jones and Diagolon. Nonsense material. I don't know if Pierre Poilievre is going to be shamed into renouncing this pseudo endorsement from Alex Jones or not. I hope not. Simply because no conservative leader should have to be browbeaten by Justin Trudeau, because Justin Trudeau is the guy, you recall, who calls anybody he disagrees with the most vile names imaginable, starting with racist, starting with misogynist. And when he's really revved up, he'll call his political opponents Nazis. That's how he referred to members of the Freedom Convoy when he didn't like them protesting in town against his authoritarian COVID mandates. Justin Trudeau called them Nazis, as well as racist and misogynist. He called anybody who didn't want to get the vaccine, maybe because they thought it might affect their health in an adverse way, racist and misogynist as well. You don't agree with Justin Trudeau, he'll call you names. He will go out of his way to try to cancel you. And that's the kind of person Justin Trudeau is. So I cannot stand to see Trudeau provide advice to anybody, because this man is so weak of character. He exhibits an unalloyed narcissism in his daily life, and especially in his politics. He is a man without political or moral honor. And he is the one siding with all the wrong people, including globalists like the WEF's Klaus Schwab. Those are the people Justin Trudeau sides with. And I want you to watch a clip here from a speech delivered by the late, great Ronald Reagan, long before he was president of the United States, long before, a few years anyway, before he became governor of California. This is the speech that essentially launched the Reagan Revolution that would culminate in his election in November 1980 as president of the United States 16 years later. This is the 1964 Republican convention that nominated Senator Barry Goldwater of Arizona as the nominee. Goldwater didn't win that year. He was seen as just too conservative, too principled, too far from the mainstream at the time to be president. Lyndon Johnson won in a landslide that year with 61% of the vote. But this is where Reagan essentially emerged as the great hope of the future for people who wanted smaller government, limited government, personal freedom, individual liberty. This is where Reagan emerged as the leader, as the spokesman for those people. And the world he describes in 1964 in America sounds a lot like the world we're living in 2024. How many years is that now? That's 60 years later. Precisely 60 years later. He's describing an America in this segment that sounds a lot like the Canada today. Let's listen.
That the issues confronting us cross party lines. Now, one side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, we've never had it so good. But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for the future. No nation in history has ever survived a tax burden that reached a third of its national income. Today, 37 cents out of every dollar earned in this country is the tax collector's share. And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in. We haven't balanced our budget 28 out of the last 34 years. We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all the combined debts of all the nations of the world. We have $15 billion in gold in our treasury. We don't own an ounce. Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion. And we've just had announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in its total value.
So guess how much the average middle-class Canadian is paying in taxes to government in general, to the state, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal government. Over 40% of their salary, 40 cents of every dollar. And Reagan was saying 37 cents at the time in the United States was too much. It's at least 40%. I can't say that for everybody because it depends on the income, but the average middle-class Canadian is spending at least 40%, sometimes as high as 50% of their salary going to the state, to the governments that rule us. And Reagan was saying that's enough. That's way too much. Let's take our freedom back. So the world that Reagan's describing is the same one that we're living in today. Our dollar is worthless. We're losing our freedom. The state is riding roughshod over those freedoms. It's riding roughshod over us. We are losing the essential liberty that Canada used to have. We are losing our free speech. We are fighting policies like euthanasia, an escalating carbon tax that never seems to end, a war in Ukraine that is siphoning billions of dollars away from Canadians to a foreign war that cannot be won by Ukraine, into the black hole of Kiev. And I will be doing a line-by-line assessment of Canada's spending in Ukraine in the very near future, in the next few days, because so many of you have asked for it. We need accountability, and we get none from this Trudeau government. We are on the precipice of an economic catastrophe, and Trudeau wants to talk about Alex Jones. I don't know if we can survive till October 2025, when the next federal election is slated to occur. I'm hoping the NDP partner of this Trudeau government decides to pull the plug on its relationship with Justin Trudeau over this budget, which has turned out to be another public relations disaster, as well as an economic one for this Trudeau government. So we might have hope that this government will fall in a non-confidence vote over the budget if the NDP has anything vaguely resembling common sense. I'm not sure they do. I hope they discover some. Thanks for watching. These are exciting times. I'm going to be here with you through these exciting times, and I think we're going to win in the end, because truth always is victorious over lies, ultimately. And I do believe right will triumph over evil. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us, because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right resistance.